Okay, am I live? Okay, so guys, just to let you know, those who are interested, my wife and family made it from California last night. Everybody's fine. We're able to get all the supplies here that they brought with them. We're heading out in about half an hour here out to the bunker. I'll try to broadcast again once we get to the bunker. That'll probably be in about 5 hours. All right. So, but yeah, it's been really bad. The CME has wiped out just about all major power plants. The internet still was still functioning. I'm still getting reports in. Any places that have generators are able still to get online, and I'm still getting updates from my office back at DHS. So I will everything I hear from you when I get some more time. I've got notes here and stuff. We want to get out of here, and when I get up to the bunker, I will put on a longer show, and I'm going to try to give all the information I have out to everybody. But the one thing I can say is get garden supplies now if you can. If you have stuff, don't bother going out. It's going to get really ugly, even out in the rural areas, really quick here. Okay. So this is Gil. I'm signing off now, and I will get back to you in about 5 hours from the bunker. Hello? Can't hear me? Hello? I hope I'm getting... I can't tell my message to the public. Hello? If you don't by now, it's happened. Things have gone down, and it's disgusting. I'm not sure what went, but it's severely all over the place. Hello? I'm looking for some sort of signal so someone can hear this. Okay. I've heard from my hacks is that New Detroit, Argo, San Francisco, Portland, and all cities are gone. If not gone, they've sustained damage. My last with my former office said that they expect 18 months before any semblance of governmental response be made. It's not good for the race. So bad. They said also haven't got a Arden in yet. Try to get something tid. Food is being shipped anywhere in the States. My signal here is acting up really bad, and I'm not sure if I'm at all. I hope you can hear me and will be able to get part of my mess out to others. There no food ever anymore. Hello? Oh. Hello, everyone. Did you guys enjoy the little impromptu, futuristic
Where's
newsletter?
Dave?
I think we lost his signal. I think he may have gotten it now.
Where is everybody? Oh, wait, I'm wearing dark glasses. I got 1 second. Let me turn on the lights. There's Dave.
All righty. So up and here comes. Come on, there she is. Boom. We got Courtney in here now.
Hey, Courtney.
Hey.
All right. So before we jump into this, this one you can share out or not. I think it's going to be pretty neat as far as supposition goes for thinking outside the box. But before we really get into this, I want to go ahead and welcome everybody in here. Go down the chat and see how many people are in here. Of course, Backwoods Law came in, Gardner Josh, Huga Homestead, and they're chatting for a while. Prairie Rider, that's Lori from north of the border. Aiden Neer is here. Fishes and Loves Life is here. That's Carol. Everyone's talking back and forth, chit-chatting. I'm scrolling down here. Yeah, they came in early, guys.
Carol.
Steve, Corsair Trainers is here.
Right. Carol, just in case, prepare for Hurricane Larry. Okay, yes. I'm tracking this pig, and this pig's big. I think it swallowed Hurricane Julian. That's bad, folks. When another hurricane swallows another hurricane, that is really bad.
All right. I'll talk about that a little bit later. I got Duncan Homestead here. Hey, Brenda. Shady Hill Homestead. Everyone's talking to each other. Good. Going down. Anybody else slipping in here? Tim Fergal here from Northern Idaho or North Idaho. They don't like you saying Northern.
The best life is not here. It's a figment of your imagination. If you see said typing from said person, you need to seek medical attention immediately because you may be delusional.
Our cabin in the woods just dropped in.
Yep, our cabin in the woods. Yep, and
immediately because you may be delusional.
Prep for it. Tasha's here. Stringfield Ridge Farm. That's Teresa, and I don't know if Lee's watching with her or not. Homesteading in Idaho is here, and the best life. It's almost to the end here. Caught up. All righty. So those of you just snuck in here in the last couple minutes, you missed out on the real cool video. At least I thought it was cool. What did you guys think of that little video?
It scared me at first because I was like, what is this?
kind of unique there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm losing signal. Help.
Yeah. Hey, Viper. So basically, the premise of that video, that pre-video, was about 6 minutes long. It was to, Lee's listening from the couch. Hey, President Lee, was to get everybody's mindset. Tonight's topic about the top 5 garden tools you need to salvage once we're in a real, folks, real SHTF. A real SHTF affects the entire country, not just one location.
Yeah.
All right. So, people say, I got my own personal SHTF. It's not an SHTF if it's a personal thing. It's a life-altering event. If it affects the entire country, that's one of the parameters for it to be actually a SHTF event.
A big one, too.
A big one, too. So basically, I just kind of threw out there, okay, CME has happened. It's wiped out all major commercial power plants because all the lines, everything got fed back and killed it. All right, so now power's gone. Cities are basically in totally riotous state because they have no power. And they know they're not going to have any power for a while. It's already been said, that stuff. And somebody went out.
Froze.
Somebody went out and put on a broadcast that, it was a CME. It's taken out all of the generators. There's not going to be power for at least 5 years. So everybody's going ape poop crazy. So with that in mind, everybody in the chat, this is for you too. I need your answers to this.
I have an issue with what you just said.
What?
Ape poop crazy. You just combined two channels into one comment, and I don't think either channel appreciates that. Mine
all right. How about this?
Bat crap.
Bat crap crazy.
There we go.
All right.
See, poop troop, there's no reason for the poop troop to go crazy.
Right.
They're supposed to already have all their chickens in a row and their turkeys in their pens. And as apes, we are advanced preparedness engineers. We also should not be going crazy. We should all have our chickens in a row.
Yeah.
Right.
But the rest of the world is. The rest of the world is going crazy.
Right.
Now,
I have a question for Courtney.
Mm-hmm.
Did you worm your turkeys?
Worm them? No, we DE. We don't worm.
Oh, great. Okay. Get black walnut hulls. Make a tea out of it. Only 1 cup. Do not poison your turkeys or chicken. Mix it into your feed. That will take care of any worm problems. If you see worms in their stool, get a commercial wormer.
Yeah. I worry about that kind of stuff because I know if you give it to your chickens, you have to wait like 2 weeks before you can eat their eggs.
Right. Also, the bad thing is you have a kid, and guess what kids do?
Yeah.
Hey, Mom, I got worms.
Yeah, that would not be good. But so far, I mean, the woman that we got him from was super clean. She had all these certificates for keeping a clean area and, so we got him from a reputable place. So I'm not really all that worried. But yes, I to be quite honest, I haven't even inspected their poop, but I probably should, huh?
Right. Because you'll be surprised when a lot of homesteader preppers do not do this. And they're wondering why are they going to the doctor's office around March or April. Like, I lost a lot of weight and I don't feel good. Oh. Well, son, you have a tapeworm about.
Did you lose a lot of weight?
Oh, actually, there was a mine going around about 3 years ago on Facebook. The newest diet: swallow a tapeworm.
Yeah.
All right. All righty. So let's get back serious here, folks. So everything's gone downhill. The balloon's gone up. Whatever you want to expression you want to use. And not only the entire country, but this is a nation. This is a worldwide event. So all the other countries, their generators are all fried, transformers, all the big stuff got the big surges because it had a lot of copper wire in there, so it picked up everything from the EMP. So the question now is for everybody here. Put your thinking caps on. What are the top 5 items
or groups of items
that you need to get to survive in this new world, since there is no more food coming from any supermarket anywhere?
This is just for the garden, right? Or is it?
We're gonna concentrate at first here, the first half hour, on the garden.
Right.
All right, because I know when Bruce comes in here, Bruce is waiting. He's going to come in here in a little bit, and I would like Steve, if Steve's going to stick around, I would like Steve to come in here on the second half and talk about other things other than garden tools that he thinks people should be looking out to get after, because basically this is for the first year or so, it's definitely going to be a world without rule of law.
Right.
Oh, gosh, I have to set up my table now. Good grief. Good thing I set up an extra camera for this stuff. Be right back.
Vicious says my chainsaw. Okay, so I'm getting seeds from Our Cabin in the Woods, seeds from Lori Prairie Rider. So basically, this is, it's, as soon as you can, and it's safe, repeat, safe to go out in a group to do this, because you don't want to go out by yourself, to go out and get some more supplies. What are the top 5 items that you need, that you will go out and salvage? I'm using the word salvage because, hey, everything's gone, and it's basically it's like a ship sunk on the sea. You're going out and salvage it. You're going out and salvage these items from wherever, whether it's from
Froze again, a Disney moment.
Yeah. whether you're going to salvage these items, whether it's from a nursery, from Wally World, from Lowe's Depot, wherever you're going to go get this stuff from, what are the top 5 items that you are thinking, okay, haven't been able to afford or get this, or I was lax in getting a lot of this? Okay, all right. Will said his AR, but hey, you already have your AR if it's your AR. We're looking
Garden.
All right. Duncan says, Homestead says, a lot of barbed wire to keep thieves out. Good. Tasha says seeds, soil, tools, water, amendments like Epsom salts. Okay. Best Life has hit one here. Water collection to be most important for me if no power. And I'm going to tag on to that to Uncle Al's video yesterday.
Yeah.
We talked about the atmospheric condensers. Basically, it's a king-size dehumidifier that sucks the moisture out of the air and gives you the water to drink from.
But there's only one problem with that. If this is an EMP, most of the smaller atmospheric condensers are electronic and it's fried.
Yeah. But there were some really cool videos I found on YouTube yesterday. Some of them were fails. And the guy said it's failing. It's collecting water on this little itty bitty thing, but it's not producing enough to drip off. It was about that big around, about that square, and had fins on it and everything, but it wasn't enough to drip off. Another guy made one out of copper tubing and a chest and running a refrigerated solution through it. And in a couple hours, he pulled out 2 cups of water.
Right. I seen that video, but the problem is, again, it uses electricity to move the refrigerant.
However, we're talking about major power outage stuff. If you have a small generators and stuff, things that weren't running still work. So if you have just a little electric pump, it should still work. Your generators should still work. You've got solar panels, they should still work. So you have a regular 12-volt pump. You can make something like that work. So
right, but we talk about this. The basic element you need, and it's going to be big, folks, is ammonia.
Well, actually, for what some of this work that they were using, you don't need ammonia for this.
What they're using for?
Actually, what they're using is they took a small 12-volt, 16-quart ice chest, one of these camping ice chests, 12-volt ones. They filled it full of water, ran that solution through the tubes and back to make the condenser collect the water. Right. So, it's just your small little 12-volt ice chest that is providing your cold water.
Right. So that'll produce
about a gallon and a half in a 24-hour period.
Roughly. If you want to increase that, you add salt to the water.
Or you increase your number, the length of your copper tubing and everything else. And,
like a football field.
Hey, Audra, how's it going?
Hi, Audra. So, everybody, we're talking about the garden. Me and Gil already discussed this earlier. We know what to, but there's a third one. And everybody misses this. Let me get my book out. I swear.
Right. So I'm going to go back up and see what else anybody missed here. Stated while we're talking here. Okay, water. We were talking about.
I did 4 videos on it. And nobody remembers.
All right. Our cabin was this: go get a container. Find some good food grade 55-gallon barrels or one of those IBC totes.
Yeah, I would say I did some totes. Yeah.
Containers to store water in, for watering stuff and plant food. Gunslinger, okay, we're talking about basically this is a true nation, actually worldwide the poop hitting the fan event where a CME has sent it's called an EMP, and all the large commercial generators and all the transformers are gone. So basically there is no grid. The grid is down. Small generators and stuff most likely survive. Car alternators survive. Small electrical things survive as long as they weren't hooked up to the grid.
Right. So also, go ahead. Yeah, Courtney,
no,
go
like
ahead.
Gunslinger said, like there's too many variables. Like, for instance, we would need, because I'm in the northern part of the United States, we would need like wood for fires and stuff, because obviously we're not going to have electricity for, you know, we have oil here, but like we're not going to have electricity. Versus Carol, who lives in Florida, that's hot all the time. So she's going to need a way to cool down, and we're going to need a way to heat up because it's going to be cold here.
Yeah.
What everybody I seen the answers, fertilizers, you got yourself and you got pigs and you got cows and chickens. What comes out of their butt, that's fertilizer. Everybody miss always number 3. You have vermin, insects, rats, raccoons, coyotes. Anything on 4 legs will eat your garden or eat you. And that's including every insect life on Earth. So you look out there at your garden and you forgot to get the pesticides and you're sick with yellow fever, or you're sick with black plague, or you're sick because you have your hand swollen up 6 times its size from a rat bite because you didn't put out something for vermin. Because how many vermin locally in your house? I could count 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that goes back to was a week and a half ago on Gray Man. We talked about which pet is right for you. That's the time when you want to have cats and big dogs. Dogs protect the cats. The cats get all the small stuff, all the mice and rats and voles and all that other stuff that destroys your garden and gets into your house.
Yeah, but they're not.
We don't take care of that problem here. Like we don't have an issue as far as vermin and stuff go. But I can imagine if the people around me don't take care of the vermin, then we're going to have vermin. And that's the same in the city. Like if the neighbors in the city, your neighbors in the city don't take care of their trash, they've got rats, and that means you've got rats too, because that's just the way it works.
Right. Yeah. And what does rats and mice bring?
Plague, disease,
fleas. Yeah. Also, they bring other stuff with them that you get, and then this is you. I don't feel good. It hurts to pee. Yeah. Those are really serious, folks. So understand it. You have to get rid of the vermin. Insect, rat, coyote, raccoon.
2-legged.
Yeah.
That's later.
That would be polecats. But like Prairie says, it's so cold up there in Alberta, she says they don't have rats up there where she's at.
I wish that was the case here.
Yeah. Oh, Carol says her problems are going to be snakes down there in Florida.
Cottonmouth, and I forgot the other one.
All right. But guys, all right, let's bring it back to garden items specifically for the garden.
Okay. Well, I said
producing food.
Post pounder.
Okay.
I don't know, because you said this is an electrical problem. Like it's so
right, if you have a generator, your generator works.
Okay. Well, I said tiller, because that's important. Shovels, rakes, and a post hole digger.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like small. Your small Briggs and Stratton motors and stuff will still work because they have rectifiers on them.
Oh, okay. And I said a camping stove.
Good.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, folks, you still haven't got the first 2. Keep going. Come on, keep going.
All right. So, who else out there in the side chat has things that what are your 5 things you want to get for the garden?
Well, you definitely need a way to water the garden, right? Water is like number 1, right?
Well, Gunslinger said fuel, because you're going to need fuel to run your generator.
Right.
You're going to need fuel to run your rototiller. If you have a garden tractor, like Butch at Sand Hollow has that little Craftsman garden tractor. He has the rototiller on it, the lawnmower on it, and the snow plow on the front. He's going to need gasoline to run that sucker. So,
again?
What items? All right, here we go. Cecilia has shovels, rakes. I bet that's supposed to be rakes, not racks. Tiller.
Well, you got to dry food out on something.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
You're still missing it, guys. You got 2 more.
Okay, so one of the big ones had to have been water, right, Uncle Al? You can't live without water.
You can't grow without water. I
live in the desert. Water. All right. Uncle Al, you already talked about the fertilizer you're gathering from your chickens and whatever else you have.
Right.
Okay. So what is the other 2? The big ones.
Are you guys going to give up that easy?
I am.
I'm waiting to see how many more people it comes up in the side chat. I'm looking for help from the side chat here, guys.
You got 60 seconds. So if you can't figure it out, think very careful. Think every pioneer town has. It's a guy in a greasy apron smoking a cigar, looking at horses and pounding with a mallet.
Oh, you mean like blacksmithing tools?
Okay.
Ding, yeah. Ding, ding. I knew Al told me this beforehand, and the reason why Al said blacksmithing tools. How long are those shovels going to last?
Yeah,
you need more shovels, and if you have blacksmithing tools, you can actually take stuff and make a plow.
Right, unless you want to hook up the wife or Dustin to the plow. What animal needs to be shoed? A
mule or a horse or an ox don't be shoed, but yeah,
it kind of depends.
Yeah, but Liberty Garden put plow, and then he put and a mule.
But you need blacksmithing and farrier tools because it's going to be really hard for Dustin to plow 5 acres on his back. Come on, Dustin, ha! With the plow. Stop hitting me with the whip. You're not moving fast enough. We got another 4 acres to plow.
Okay, we got a question here, all in caps. Our Kevin in the Woods was saying, I was thinking about getting the adapter to run propane on my generator. What do you think? I did that a step further. I went to Costco and I got the tri-fuel, natural gas, propane, and gasoline already set up. But yeah, I have a gasoline generator in California, and my son is wanting me to. Is that the there it is?
No, it's different, but it's similar.
Yeah.
This is a wall heater that's designed to run on propane only.
Yeah.
So we're going to set it up so we can have it drain and everything down in the basement. So if we lose power, we can hook it up to a 20-pound tank and maintain heat in this house.
Yeah. But the adapters, I've looked at the adapters for the for my particular generator I have at home, and basically I may have to get a certain kit and then adapt it a little bit. So you got to make sure you get the right kit. They don't make a kit for my generator I have at home in California.
Yeah, just take a pair of needle nose pliers and pinch the orifice. It'll be fine.
But I just okay. Tasha puts fence posts. Because you're going to need to enlarge fence posts with the barbed wire. You're going to need to enlarge your garden area because you ain't going to the store to get any more food.
No.
What you grow is what you eat.
Yeah.
If you don't grow it, you don't eat.
Big time.
Yeah.
I got a video on that later on. A reality check for homesteaders. I'm sorry, but you're my next target. I'm going to blow you out of the water next to. You get prep in a FTHF like right now. What's
That's
number
why
2?
with Shed Wars, I'm super excited to weigh my food, and because I already have, but weigh it all together and see exactly how many pounds of food I have actually grown.
Good
you know what I mean?
Good one, Ginger Ninja. A lot of preppers forget this one. A wheelbarrow and a garden cart. But what is number 2 that's really important? Now, me and Gil talked about this.
Yeah, and I got to keep my mouth shut, so I can't give it away.
Right. And you have to understand, this is important. Number two, if you have a small generator, a steam generator, a windmill, you can run these devices. And think back to the 1860s.
Well, I guess that takes outhouse out of the equation.
Yeah,
That's not for the garden, but you can set what. Oh, that's for another live stream.
Right, but this is important to maintain your tools and your engines, small engines, if you don't have this equipment.
Can I give them a hint?
Sure.
Think back to the 1920s and before, and think industrial America, the Industrial Revolution. How were they doing the Industrial Revolution?
You need a forge.
No. After the forge, we're talking machinery.
I'm like totally lost then. I feel like
Oh God,
I feel very dumb.
Okay, hang on a second here. Let me I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna do something here.
Yeah, oil. They're saying oil. I was thinking like steam powered stuff.
You're right. You're there.
you're getting close.
You're getting closer.
During the 1860s, a lot of steam power was used to drive what? And a lot of people goofed this up in
Sawmills.
history.
Oh, sawmills. Yeah.
Okay, and what else other than sawmills? If you're working with machinery,
God.
it turns things, it goes around, you put vices on it. You press things and a sharp thing goes down.
All right.
No idea.
Lord.
Steam powered factories, which means you're gonna need
You need coal to run your steam for one thing, as well as water.
or wood, but you need a heat source. But you're gonna need. Oh wow! You got steam engines, and they're running. Here we go. You see these gears and stuff running, steam powered. Yeah.
Okay, folks, look very carefully. That was a press. Now look at
The
these.
sewing machines. Look up here at the top. You see these rods running along here with the belts coming down, running the sewing machines.
So you
Those
said
belts-
thing I should get my old Singer, the push pedal, start working
Yes.
again.
Yes. But what Al's talking about is this is more than garden. What Al's talking about, but is to make the stuff for the gardening and stuff. That's Al's going to the second half mainly here. But he's talking about steam powered factory stuff, steam powered lathes, milling machines, drill presses, manufacturing stuff.
Okay, but there's one issue with that though, and I'm being the advocate here of the other side. Without proper training, those tools will do absolutely no good for nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those tools take years of proper training to be able to use anywhere near efficiency. You're not going to take an average Joe Schmo, hand him, put him in front of the lathe and say, "Here, make this." Yeah. He's either going to come back missing digits or really screw up the project altogether.
It's not like you can like YouTube it or something.
So while I do tend to agree that those tools will be valuable in a true SHTF event, you really need to find people that know how to operate those tools.
Right.
And going back to one of my old old videos where it takes a community, you're not going to lone wolf it.
Nope.
You might live a year, but in the end run, you still going to die.
Right.
And that's what Lori's saying here. This would need a village to raise those factories. Yeah. Now, for garden tools, though, Al's thinking beyond. He's thinking making new ones. Well, I'm thinking about going out and salvaging what you can right now.
Yeah.
The top 5 I would go after. The first thing I would go after is a nice 30 to 40 horsepower tractor with all of its implements on it. That's the first thing I go out and snag or salvage. The next thing I go out and salvage would be a diesel tanker, hopefully full.
Yeah. See, I'm going to make a trip not too far from Little Miss Fishy down there, and actually over by more probably closer toward Brett's over at Broussard's.
I'm up here in Idaho. I got to go get my tanker.
Nope. See, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to visit the naval shipyards, and I'll go find one of them submarines that's been decommissioned but still has power. and me and about 30 other people we're going to push out to sea.
See, I'm going to, good luck.
Yeah, I hope you have a machinist on hand because, in those old subs, the machine shop in there, it'll work, but you need a machinist to run it.
Yeah.
It'll have a drill press. It'll have a lathe. I forgot the third thing they had.
Yeah.
I'm old.
End mill.
It'll
have an end mill.
Yeah. So, but like I said, so the first thing I'm going to get is a bigger tractor with all the implements so I can farm more land. Second thing I'm going to get is fuel. And I froze again.
I don't really want to farm more land, but it would be nice to have more raised beds and stuff like that here because there's only the two of. I mean, Fred doesn't eat that much, so it's just the three of us. Yeah. And then I think the rest would just be like protection, so people don't come in and try to take what you have.
Okay, well, herein lies the opposite side of that coin. What a lot of people don't think of. They think, well, I'm just going to, make just what I need. And I hate to tell you, but if you have a bad year, you're suddenly without.
Yeah, you need
to overproduce. And what you can't store, save up, use for bartering. Build up a community of a bartering network. So if you've got, 40, 50 extra bushel of corn, and they just happen to have had a banner year on cucumbers and radishes, you guys can swap. Yeah. Then next year when you guys swap because you don't grow the same thing year after year after year after year, you swap out you rotate your crops. Mm-hmm. So next year they're growing corn and you're growing the cucumbers and radishes, and you guys can still swap back and forth. You build up a community this way, and when you call, you get on your little ham radio and say, hey, we got a fire in our barn over here, we need help. You got 50, 60 people coming over to help you rather than just you and your old man.
Right. Yeah. That's why I want, like I said, first thing is the tractor for be able to grow more stuff, fuel to support the tractor. Next thing I want to get is some smaller stuff like a rototiller to be able to do what my wife calls a dinner garden, not the large production garden, but a dinner garden. The next thing I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be hitting every place else up as well for any seeds left at Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, the nurseries. And when I go by the nurseries, I'm going to grab every fruit tree they have there. Mm-hmm. Because it's going to take 5 years for those fruit trees to be really producing.
Right.
And so I'm going to try to get, and if I wind up putting in 50 fruit trees, and in 5 years, all of a sudden I have more fruit than I could ever hope of canning and eating, guess what I'm doing with it?
Trading it.
Like Dave said, I'm bartering it off for other things.
I have a whole series
whiskey.
Right. I have a whole series that shoots every homesteader on YouTube because I am mad as hell because I used to homestead and it screwed up Uncle Al. Now he's retired. I'm living in the suburbs and I go to the country club because I am tired. You have no idea, guys. If you're going to do homesteading, understand this. If you make one mistake, my mistake, your neighbor's mistake, you're going to end up like the Irish famine. Understand that. You're going to end up like an Irish famine. So your little 2-acre plot will be your graveyard. I am serious about this. So understand clearly, this is not, I don't care about security. It's raising food is number one issue. You don't understand what's going on, you will die, period. Okay.
Well, there was that experiment that they did a long time ago where they had brought in 3 couples to live primitively in Canada. Right. And they had to live through the winter and stuff like that. That was a really good example of how, they had to live like they lived in the 1800s. And it was a really good social experiment on how to survive. And, one guy, he seriously could not cut enough firewood to last him throughout the entire winter.
Right. But did you watch the end of the show, Courtney?
Yeah.
Nobody made it through.
No.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, see, you're going to have to remember once you start gathering your top 5 things, the next thing you should be doing, or you should even before you actually go out to gather those top 5 things, is make sure you're working with your neighbors. You know, especially if you're out in the rural area and you're not stuck in the city. Now, if you are stuck in the city, you're going to need to work with your neighbors even closer. You're going to have to start basically fortifying. If you're in an apartment, you're going to have to fortify the apartment building and get everybody to realize, hey, there ain't no relief coming. They announced on the emergency broadcast network, it's going to be at least 10 years before they get a grocery store open again.
Right. Now, Dave, he told me of an old science fiction movie of the 70s. Anybody remember Yul Brynner? Not Westworld, the other one, Ultimate Warrior. Do you know what happened to the people outside that protected community when the people came out of the sewers and ate that, unfortunately, gentlemen?
Mm-hmm.
They ripped them apart. They're cannibals. So think about that, folks.
Yeah, you don't want to eat long pork.
Bad times will make even good people do stupid things.
Like eat you and put barbecue sauce on you.
All right. Steve, are you still here? Horsehair Trainers, are you still here? And Bruce, if you have the link, you want to come up now talk about non-garden things that you think people should get. Oh, yeah. All right. Right now, you see that book on the lower left there? There's a new one coming out. So on Tuesday, Dave's going to have the authors on his live stream on Tuesday, Doc Bones and Nurse Amy, with the 4th edition that just came out. Now I'm glad I didn't go ahead and buy the paperback version of that one. I just got the
Bruce says, okay. Is it Bruce?
Yeah.
Yep. Come up. I'll drop off.
All right.
In the kiddie section.
Yeah. All right. So, Gardner Josh says communication. Yes, communication is something after you have your garden stuff to help you survive immediately for food. Communication, setting up a communication network with all your neighbors and stuff around you, it's going to be very important because that will help you be able to get the word out. Hey, I got was it Al or David said we got a barn? But Dave said a barn on fire. I need help. You can call people and they can get them coming a lot quicker if you have communications and everybody works together.
Yeah.
All right. 50 says, what is long pork? Long pork is human being. It's the other white meat. Yes, exactly.
That kind of stuff, like, you really have to watch too, because even like during the Great Depression, they hunted a lot of things to almost near extinction because people were starving to death.
Right. And people don't think about that. You've got all these people, so-called preppers out here, who think they're going to jump out in the woods and grab my 30-06 and I'm going to kill everything I see. And guess what? Animals ain't stupid either. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. God didn't make them dumb. The animals are going to realize something bad just happened and they're going to hide. So finding said deer, antelope, elk, whatever you're going for is going to become harder, especially when you got 4 or 5 million other people out there trying to kill it.
Mm-hmm. Especially those that don't know how to hunt, out there stomping through the woods, chasing it all off. When I used to hunt back before I got married 30 some odd years ago, we would go to an area a month beforehand to scout it out where we were going to go hunting. And then we'd go back 2 weeks later. And then we go back on the opening day of bow season, which opened up a month before rifle season. We went up there at the opening day of bow season. Guess what we saw? Nada. All the deer and stuff we saw, we're watching, and everything else. The month beforehand, it was and everyone was saying, yeah, it's like they have an alarm clock. It's deer season. We're out of here, and they're gone.
Yeah, it's squirrel season right now, and my husband can't find a squirrel. Not one squirrel. Before, they were all over the place.
Yeah.
He needs to get something quieter so when he goes, it doesn't scare everything away. Tell him to come down here. I'll let him borrow my air rifle, and he can go up there and use that, and I guarantee you I'll get something.
Yeah, so thinking about what items that you would go out and salvage because you don't have them now, make a list.
Yeah,
and
I
then
would like
categorize it as the most important thing on there.
Yeah,
and then start saving for that.
Raid Sam's Club, like I totally would. I mean, they have everything there that you
and 22 million other people.
Yeah.
Yep. and this is mallet. But yeah, so that's for your gardening and stuff. Yeah, what don't you have now that you're going to need? I could probably, with what I have now, pros, I could probably get by and get a garden going enough to carry me over for a year.
Yeah.
Maybe if everything grew good. If my wife and my two boys were up here from California, and if I have the extra manpower out there, we could do it and do a lot better at it, because I got 4.5 acres on the other across the street here that is totally waiting to be gardened. And we could grow food enough to get us going each year, and each year improve on our skills, so we grow more and more before we run out of what I have stored here in the house.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that most people don't think about, is your food storage is to help you over the bad years. Now, someone put it in there. I forget who put it in there, and I apologize that I forgot who put it in there. Canning jars and lids. Because if you're going out, you're probably going to need to get a whole bunch more canning jars and lids than what you have. And if there aren't any more being made, you're going to be very careful in removing those lids so you can reuse them.
Yeah, I already am on that anyway. Like, I'm very careful with removing them because I reuse them if the seals aren't broken.
Yeah. And I know there are some more heavier duty industrial type ones, for better term, for home canners that are made to be reused. The metal sticker, so when you pop it off, it doesn't bend, and they're just heavier duty all around.
I'll put in a good point.
Huh?
I'll put in a good point.
8 deer, 4 hogs, 300 rabbits to feed a family of 4. And I'm trying to think who just did it. One of the channels I was watching today, they had a trap out there, a hog trap, and they caught 12, but four of the smaller pigs, wild boars, got out, and they still got 8 of them. There we go. Boom. There we go. Paraffin wax as well for canning.
Yeah, that works really well for jams and stuff.
Yep, that's what my mom always used on our jams and jellies, is paraffin.
Yeah.
We always had like 15 to 20 pounds of it in the house.
A lot of people in the canning communities are using the paraffin wax now because the lids are so hard to come by, and they're not wasting their lids on their jellies and jams, so they can use the wax.
And if you have the old bayonet or lug style lids from the jam came in originally, you clean those up, you fill it up, put your paraffin wax in there, and you screw the lid back on it. Protect the wax.
Mm-hmm.
Can't tell you how many of those Smucker's and Welch's grape, Smucker's strawberry and Welch's grape jam lids that we have. I mean, the whole setups that we've rinsed out and saved and in boxes.
Bob, they have a ton of that paraffin wax at Walmart. I don't think a lot of people use that paraffin wax because they don't know how to use it. But I have a feeling if something catastrophic were to happen, you wouldn't be able to find it.
Yeah.
People would
try. The last store I went to was the Kroger just up the hill here. And they had maybe 2 boxes of lids, 2 boxes of the small, the little teeny jars, 2 or 3 boxes of the pints, and that's it. Nothing else for canning goods. They were almost completely wiped out.
Yeah. And what gets me is that I'm trying to find stuff. I'm not sure. I'm thinking they take the regular, not the regular size, but the wide mouth for quart jars, the half-gallon jars. And I'm not sure about the gallon jars, whether they take the wide mouth or whether they actually have them wider. If you can get the canning lids for the big old mayonnaise jars that are about that big around.
Yeah.
I would love to get some of those because I have a bunch of those old mayonnaise jars and some gallon canning jars that take the big lid, but I just don't know where to get them at. Hey, Katie Palmer, how's it going? Katie is the sister of my brother from another mother, Scott, from Hidden Valley Homestead.
Oh, she is?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I talk to Katie all the time. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Scott's up. He's moved. He's living in North Idaho up there now.
Nice.
All right. There is. Oh no, you're not. You're not that Katie.
No, that's Q Kitchen.
Oh, okay, wrong, Katie.
It's on Facebook.
Okay. Because I know that Scott's sister Katie is following me too on Facebook. So
Prep for it. I like really old cookbooks too, and in fact, I have like a Amish thrift store near me, and I go there all the time. You can get like cookbooks and canning books and stuff like that for like 50 cents. So every time I'm there, I always raid their books to see what I could find, and I found like an old Ball Blue book from the 50s. And I have that, and I found some other cool canning books as well. And then now that I can a lot, people just give me stuff. Hey, I used to can. Here, you want this book? Like, people do that all the time too. But yeah, I like
the jars.
No, I wish.
All right, I need to drop that one off there. Okay. For other items that are not for the garden, what I would go after as soon as it's safe to do so, solar panels. I'd start salvaging solar panels. Those little trailers they have for the highway guys with the aerial boards and stuff and the messages on and stuff. Those are solar powered. They have solar panels across the top, and
you can take those during a crap hits the fan scenario. You could probably take those if you knew electrical, and you could wire them to do.
Yeah. And basically, they provide light, 24 hours a day, off the solar panels they have up there and charge the batteries up. So,
are you watching to see if Bruce makes it back up?
I'm watching. I don't see him down here. I'm also seeing a message in private chat here saying I am waiting to come up. All right. I have a feeling we're going to go long tonight, but there's nobody coming on after us. So I'm going to do something here.
Uh-oh.
Okay, there you go. I'm using Gray Man Prepping to put the link for anybody that wants to come up. And there's Bruce.
See?
Hey,
Told you.
Hola.
Hey.
Hola.
Hey, senor.
Good thing you got your sunglasses on, the way that light's shining on your face there.
Yeah, I had the light that's directly above me go out, so the lights that are around the room, the little LEDs, are not bright enough, I don't think. Let me turn that off and see how it looks.
That's a good idea, Bob. Good job.
Oh, you look great.
Well, I guess it's okay.
Yeah.
It was looking funky earlier.
Yeah.
Our goal for water is to eventually catch. We have a garage, and on the back there's it's not really a lean-to. It's something my grandfather built, but it has like a back portion and it's all open. So we thought about collecting rainwater and then putting the barrels on the inside of the garage so they collect on the inside so you can't see them, because my county has issues with collecting rainwater. So we thought about doing that and then getting those huge food grade rain barrels and stuff like that and collecting water in there. for our garden.
And that would be a thing to look into if after the first year, after, because basically no matter what anybody says, and a lot of them say it's going to happen, some people say it's not going to happen, is the first winter after a great catastrophe where like the grid goes down, there is no heat, electrical heat or, pumps, electric.
30% of the population will freeze to death.
There's the projected die-off from DHS numbers is 85%.
I was trying to be nice.
Yeah, well, and that was revised down from 90% when I told them, you're forgetting about all the farmers out there who don't need electricity and stuff. They're still going to be doing just fine in the communities around them because they're going to come together. And so they rounded that down.
Start collecting your old 1930s. Go to thrift stores and start collecting your old 1930s fur coats and stuff.
Exactly. But yeah, so for non-garden stuff, like I said, the first thing I'm going after is solar panels, especially those those highway arrow boards that are all in one, batteries, lights, and everything else. Get some of those and just use that to power stuff. So, Bruce.
Yeah.
So you got the scenario down. No more power. What's the, for non-garden stuff, what would be the first 5 things that you, in your experience in both as a fire, fire department and MP in the military and stuff, what would be the first 5 things you would go after that you don't have?
That I don't have?
Yeah.
Well, you never have enough freedom seeds, so I'd obviously want to go and get some more of those. But that's okay because you don't have more than what you need. The one of the top things would be, I know the wife has seeds for the garden, but even though I'm not a gardener, I would go out and I would seek those out anyway for the garden for her, just because I know we're going to need something that's going to be sustainable in the future. Yeah. And then after that, I'm going to be focusing on the generator we have, the solar generator I have, making sure that those are working, and then blacking out like the windows, things like that, so that if you have a small light on at night, you're not like a beacon in the night to every jackwagon out there saying, oh, look, they have power. I bet you they got other good stuff there.
So spray paint. Black
spray paint. You could put aluminum foil over it. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Or they have heavy blankets like the moving blankets. You could tape those over the entire area where the window is. And all that you're trying to do is make sure that light's not seeping out, because if I see that and I'm in the field and I'm like, uh-oh, I need to get water or something, I'm going to where there's light. Because if you have light, you have the ability to have other stuff, and it's very likely you have it.
Yeah, if you have light, you're like a golden beacon for anybody and everybody to come and.
Yeah, especially if everything's out everywhere else. I mean, that would stand out, and everybody within 100 miles say, where's that light coming from?
Yeah.
I mean, with binoculars, you would be able to see it, and it would be clearly visible because there's no light anywhere else.
The easiest way to describe what he's trying to say is if you go out to the desert where there's actually no light pollution, you can see the dang Milky Way. Okay, in a true SHTF, in your backyard, you're going to see said Milky Way. Any kind of land-based light is going to shine with an arc over top of it for at least 2 miles.
Yeah,
because there's no other natural, no other man-made light. Even little teeny LED lights are going to be able to be seen from a half mile away. So, in preparing for SHTF and trying to make sure everything you have stays yours, you want to try and make sure that you get stuff to help keep people at a distance as well. And I'm not talking just freedom seeds. You need binoculars. You need ways to make choke points, and it's coming more from a tactical side. But, if you don't cover your tactical aspects, your garden is as good as gone.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Gil.
One of the things I was going to, another item I'd go after would be all the rechargeable batteries I could find. And then after I have all the rechargeable batteries I could find, I would go to the Caterpillar dealership, the John Deere dealership, and certain farm tractor supplies place where they have dry batteries. They have the battery there, and then they have the box of electrolyte you put into it when you're ready to use the battery. The big 8D batteries and 4D batteries, which they use in all the big equipment and the diesel trucks and stuff and everything else. Cat and John Deere store those dry, and you order the boxes of the electrolyte to go with them, and you just fill it up, and it almost immediately has a charge because it's a chemical reaction. But you can put it on a short charger and charge it right up and top it off.
The other thing that would be important to have is marine batteries, because even though they're not specifically made for solar power, they are a deep cycle battery. You can get out of a marine battery usually 400 to 500 recharges, as long as you don't take it all the way down and kill the battery.
Yeah,
that's very important. You got to make sure you know where that level is for the specific size of battery you get and what its initial charge is. So that would be something else that would be very important, because even if you have batteries right now that you can hook your solar panels into, we all know in 5 to 10 years,
you're toast.
And you got to replace them. And then, it's another $10,000 for you.
Right.
Pros. That's what I was saying about the dry batteries.
Yep.
You get those. That way they're not, they can sit for 5 years, and you put the electrolyte in, they're brand new. The other thing too is, besides the marine batteries, and Uncle Al's talked about this a bunch, I'm surprised he didn't bring it up tonight, golf cart batteries. They're even better than the marine batteries. They're even a deeper, heavier duty deep cycle battery. And golf courses and things, so you can take those batteries and pour the acid or the electrolyte out into a container, rinse them out with distilled water, and then store them and let them dry. And then that way you just save the electrolyte, seal it up, and then you just use it later on.
Something else to think of too, and this would really be for everybody.
Okay, go ahead. Then I'll answer the question after you're done.
Okay. This would really be for everybody. Anybody who's been in the military knows this, but if for any reason you need to be outside after it's dark, you need to have something to cover you up. If you're going out there because you have to, go and do something with the chickens or whatever it is, because if you have even a little small flashlight like we were talking about, it's going to be like a beacon in the night. So you have to have like a poncho or something. What you do is you put it over your head. And when you need to use the little small light, make sure that's completely covering you. Just flash it for a second just to see what you're doing. Get it done, and then go back in the house and make sure where you're coming in and out of the house. Make sure you have a dark room before you go in and out of the house, because if you open that door and there's light flooding out, you're all of a sudden going to get real popular.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that the Navy always did in the military in World War II and the Korean War. Red lights, not white, not green, red, because it doesn't shine out as far. To quickly answer Carol's question here, not immediately. And as far as Mad Max goes, probably not really.
You mean no cod pieces?
No. No, we're not going to have that guy running around in the desert to learn nothing but a cod piece. All right. We're talking about, gasoline, propane, those supplies, people are not going to be driving like they are now. They shouldn't. Those that do are going to be stuck away from home, and they're going to die. There will be vehicles around, and especially after the first winter die-off, there'll be a lot of vehicles that you can go out there and you can and siphon the gas out.
Be careful. Do not suck the gas in all the way. You get that in your lungs or you get it in your throat, and you got a big problem.
Yeah. And usually working on, people use too short of a hose. They have a long enough hose where it comes out and makes a big dip, and you do it, you suck it, and you feel the gas hit that, then you lower it down in and into the container.
Well, you actually have brought that a good point there, because I would totally shave. I wouldn't shave my head, but I would definitely not be wearing makeup, and I definitely would watch what I wear being a woman. in this type of scenario. So you did bring it up. Good, prep for it. Like I know they have bad, awesome looking hairdos and stuff in Mad Max, but that's true. You don't want to draw attention to yourself being a female.
Okay,
Yeah.
I gotta
underestimate females all the time.
Right. I have to put my foot down because everybody missed this point. Okay, I study history. I was going to get a degree in history. Remember the Spanish Civil War? I keep telling this to people, but people are like, yeah, the Republican and nationalist. Yeah. No, what did they use in the Civil War? Spanish Civil War, because the tanks were a bunch of crap. But what did they use? Everybody used this.
Horses?
You talking about the armored cars, Al?
Yeah. Armored cars. What a lot of the Republicans did was, oh, I'll grab my Ford 50 or Chrysler and we'll weld metal plates on it. Because most forces at the time were ground forces. Nobody had cannons. They had rifles and pistols and shotguns. So what's the perfect vehicle to defend your location? I got my Ford 50. Oh, God. No, an armored car. So you
Howie.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just said, hey, Howie.
Hey, Peace and Refuge.
Yeah, Howie. So you go to your, is it Guardia for the armored cars? I forget.
There's several. Loomis, Guardia, I can't think of it now.
Beacons.
Burns armored cars, and then the other one for that was the old detective agency that they're now doing it now.
Civil War guys. Pinkerton. Okay, you grab one of those trucks. You can block your area fairly good because I don't think you're going to be running your truck through that armored car. You end up all mashed up. Second, they have portholes, and what do you stick out of the porthole?
Your rifle.
Right. And if they shoot back, how many inches of steel they have to go through?
Yeah.
I think on the side of those, it's like 4 or 5 inches, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. And you're shooting some idiot. I got a ballistic plate. Fine. Fire 30 rounds at him. See how long is he going to stand. This is why I tell a lot of people to study the Spanish Civil War. There was 4 factions. The other problem was women in that part. You had the nationalists and the Republicans. The nationalist women were afraid of being raped by the Republicans. And there were a lot of anal crimes, oral crimes.
Okay, let's get away from that family channel.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So you have to be very careful.
All right. So let's dial back to more simple stuff here. One of the things that both Bruce and Dave were talking about with freedom seeds, and Dave already has the alternative to freedom seeds as far as the chemical propellant.
What about making your own? I know growing up, my dad always made his own freedom seeds.
But he had to go buy the smokeless powder for it.
Yeah.
Unless he had a muzzle loader, then he would get the black powder. Making black powder is not as safe as you think it is.
Right. You lose fingers, folks.
You lose bodies.
Yeah.
You lose buildings.
Yeah. You not found black powder.
Yeah, there is something that Dave's done several things. He has 2 of them. He has a pistol, and then he has the semi-automatic Hatsan in 25 caliber. The pistol's in 50 caliber. But there are a lot out there, guys, and I know I've been mentioning this on several live streams here. And I mention it because, hey, there's no Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms paperwork for this yet, and they're not tracking any sales of them currently. Yeah, currently. So, there are the nice.
Somebody's echoing.
Someone doesn't have their headphone on.
Nobody has their headphones on. What you talking about?
I got my earpiece in, but I'm not sure who has their speaker. Okay, it went away. It was Al's. One of these things here. This is a it's not really a true 357. It's a
9mm.
9mm. You know, that's the Chinese didn't realize that 357 is actually 38 caliber. But so, and even though this is American made, it came out from the other one, but yeah, they made it over there. So it's air powered, and you can hunt with this thing. This thing shoots out a 9mm slug at 910 feet per second. That's faster than the Colt 45, the 1911. You can hunt with these. People,
the 1911 is shooting out a hollow point, so that's a little bit of difference there.
No, you can put a hollow point in this.
It's 0.45 cal.
Yeah. You can put a hollow point in this. You can put decent size, regular, pew slugs in there.
Right.
Yeah, so it'll take a 115 grain full metal jacket slug in it. It'll take the 92 grain from I can't think of the name of it now.
Yeah.
But it's a copper infused projectile that weighs 92 grains, and in a standard 9, it shoots out at over 1,200 feet per second, and that it'll break just over 1,000 feet per second, keeping it still subsonic. And it is a hollow point, and at 1,100 feet per second, it will go through soft body armor.
Right.
Yeah,
folks.
And which means it'll take down a deer.
Right.
An elk.
Right. Pig, maybe.
Yeah. So
shot to the head, it'll take it out.
Yeah. Now, the other thing here is I forgot to bring this up before, and I should have here. So give me a second here. This is
Guys in Michigan.
Yeah. There we go. There goes Michigan. Folks. Moose here runs videos all the time, and he runs. All right, the Maverick here. This is a 25 caliber, and it's kicking up 1,800 feet per second. 25 caliber.
Speed kills.
Yes, speed kills. And he goes to it, and he'll show all the different pellets. And the one he was talking about here about how to tuning these air rifles, and you test it. Okay, so this particular slug or pellet works at this many psi better, but if you're up at higher psi, this one works better. And he talks about all the different ways. And these guys go hunting with these things.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
A lot of guys are going hunting with the air guns.
Can I bring up a point in history? If you're using an air gun, you got to be like the Austrians who used it against Napoleon troops. You do not face them head on, because one, they're going to laugh at you because you only can fire one shot, and you have a group of angry Napoleonic soldiers.
These things are set up with that Maverick there has a 16-shot magazine.
So did the Austrians. But what happens when you see a bunch of people finding you? It's good for sniping, but you see a bunch of people.
Then you go out. Then you go out by the Hot Sound Blitz. It's just under $1,000 at the moment in 30 cal. You buy the double magazine that is 16 rounds. And about as fast as you can say, I love America, you've wasted all 16 rounds of 30 caliber shots in somebody or somebody's. Okay, it is a fully automatic, one of the very few, but it goes and done.
Yeah. And Dave, yours is yours bolt or semi-auto?
Bolt.
Okay. One of the other ones
I've gotten fairly proficient. I can rack them out of there pretty quick.
Yeah, some of the ones I'm looking at, one of the 30 calibers I was looking at here is semi-auto, 20-round magazine, and if you get the, let's see if I can find it here on it. I'm going to go back here, and it's going to get a little weird here, folks. Sorry, I apologize. These are the pumps that pump it. There you go. Sorry, you don't have it showing. There we go. All right, so this bottle here, you put it on there, and you're firing, 100 rounds. And you have the 12-volt powered pump to pump. Someone's pumping up another bottle while you're firing away.
Or you can get a hand pump.
Or you get a hand pump. But this is the quick way. You just fill up these bottles. And what he does here on one of his things, I can't find it here, but basically he has it set up so that he can tether his air rifle to he's so I'm getting bad echo. Anybody hear the bad echo?
No,
Yeah, we heard it.
Okay, it went away. All right, so so basically when he goes out to the range, he'll tether it up and he'll fire off, several hundred rounds before he's got to change tanks. So that's if you're looking at home protection where it's you don't have to worry about running out of chemical projectile material, the propellant rather. The air is a way to go. Plus, for either air or chemical projectile, all these dead cars around with all these lead acid batteries. Lead. Recycle, folks. Time to recycle.
You know what I could do with a scuba tank? One of those pressurized tanks you talk about, some diesel fuel, some emollient. Do you know what
we don't want to get in trouble with a certain agency for even talking about that right now.
I know.
There are a lot of things you can do, but there's also you don't want to be talking about it right now because there's a lot of agencies looking for that.
That's 1,200 rounds, Josh. Now they're all over the floor. Dang it.
Yep.
Back in a few minutes.
All right, you guys, I'm going to have to get off of here because I have to can kidney beans. So.
Yeah, you got more kidney beans to can. Yeah. So hey, check out Courtney's live from this morning. She and Rebel Canners are on there, and she was canning kidney beans. Yeah.
I opened a whole bag. I only did not even half the bag this morning. So I have to get moving. But
do you have enough jars?
Oh yeah, they're in the dishwasher. So I'm getting.
I want to make sure you're not running out of jars.
No, that would be horrible.
Yeah.
Then you'll be eating a lot of chili for the next 2 days.
Yeah.
They're dry beans. They're dry beans. You just put them in Ziploc bags and toss in some stuff.
They're pre-soaked.
I have one of those things that suck out all the air. So
yeah,
one of those. But yeah, I told my husband today, I'm like, I hate to tell you this, honey, but I think we need more jars. I mean, we have tons of jars anyway, but yeah.
So that's something everyone can consider right now that's still in here. Think about it. If you had to can all your food, how many jars are you going to need for a year? And then multiply that by 2.
Well, think about it. Think of all the things that you'd get sick of really fast. Like beans, for one. I know I would get sick of beans. So you only want like so many cans of beans, so many cans of that, so many cans of this.
Nope.
Yeah. And then
one thing you do is you have a very diverse variety and multiples of it. Because you know what? There's probably 70 or 80 different dishes you can cook with beans in it. You can add rice to beans. You can add, vegetables to those beans. You can cook the beans in a wok. You can cook them over in a pot. I mean, you can fry them.
And then you can add
just
beans,
having a very diverse
turkey,
method of
chicken.
cooking the same food and adding various spices.
Uncle Al?
That's the number of jars you need.
How about that? I'll put that up there again.
730.
730 quart jars, right? Okay.
You don't want to know about pints because
and some things you're gonna want pints as well, and some things you're gonna want the half gallons. If you're doing an entire stew, you're going to need if you're going to do an entire stew, you're going to want a half gallon thing to do it instead of 2 or 3 quarts. Yeah.
Those are pints right here.
Yeah.
Too bad Mouse isn't feeling better. Mouse would be a good one to ask because Mouse has went over this numerous times in the last several years on various other live streams, especially when she was on the Honey Badgers, talking about the number of jars to feed just her and Vern. So, I mean, Mouse would have been a great one to ask.
Yeah, Mouse would know. And also
everybody, everybody always talks about the lid shortage, always. Well, technically, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Just go out and buy the jars. It's more expensive, but those jars come with lids. So, and like most people say, you can never have too many jars. So just go and buy the jars.
Yeah, and the thing is, what you can probably, if you're careful, you can use those lids at least 2 times.
True. If you have the heavy lids, like Gil said before, you could use it over and over again. But there's a Chinese lid I've been using, and I had total fails on my pressure cooking. It's not ball because it's just a blank lid.
Yeah.
It will crumble and destroy itself in pressure. Hot canning with water, not a problem. But if you use it for anything else, like steam pressure, the lid will crumble.
Yeah.
Because I lost a lot of beef doing that.
Okay, let's see if I can find this here.
Later, guys. Have a good night.
Night, Courtney.
All right, see you later, Courtney. All right, let me Amazon. See if this comes up here. All right, so here is the ones, several of the ones I've talked about. Throw it up here again. Paddler, reusable. Yeah. So those are reusable for regular size. They also have them for the extra wide, but that's on Amazon. And let's see what that one shows us here.
I remember Mouse saying something about Tattler lids, so I would check with her or Sherry from Two Family Homestead.
I listen. That was this. She said that is the better of the recycle of the reusables.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and so this is how many lids here? This is 12 lids for $23, but you get to use them and
froze again
and freeze.
Yeah, and you use them until you freeze.
Question. Do you see it? Bottom.
Yeah, Ryder Dust asked, what do you think of pure lids? Don't know, never used them.
Pure lids? Not sure about them. Let me check something out here.
The only thing that I see as a single point of failure there is that red gasket. So you may want to see if you can figure out what that's made of and get that replaced, because if you're going to have any damage there, that looks like it's where it's going to happen.
Yep. True.
Yeah.
Somebody forgets to clean the lid of their jar before they try and seal it. Good way to destroy a gasket.
Good way to destroy your pressure cooker too.
All right, pure canning lids and rings and okay, these I don't see them enlisting the actual name on any of
They're
these.
Ace Hardware.
Huh?
Ace Hardware.
Ace Hardware.
Gil doesn't shop at Ace.
Actually, my wife used to work at Ace at one point. She was so let me check with her what she thinks of them, and then we can check with Rebel Canners and Mouse Toes and see what they think of pure lids. Because the rings are pretty much are interchangeable. The rings just hold it in place during the canning process, and you have to take them off once they're out, and once they've sealed, then you got to take them off. Otherwise, it's going to wind up corroding on the jars.
Well, and the other thing is if you have a lid that's not sealed properly, you'll be able to tell a lot quicker if you don't have the ring on than if you have the ring on there.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, if it loses its seal, you're going to need to redo it or go ahead and just eat it right away.
On the jars, guys, on secondhand stores, be really careful. There was a batch came out of China that had high lead content. So if you got that jar, be very careful, because you don't want lead poisoning. Like, gee, this beef tastes funny, or this peach apricot preserve really tastes funny, and you drop dead from lead poisoning down the road. It doesn't look too good.
Yeah. Okay. So here's basically the rings are replaceable, and if you can find out where you can get just the rings, and you already have the other part of the lid, that will extend it even longer. So, but it doesn't look like they sell them separately. They have the rings and lid setup, or just the rings and with the rubber, the lids with the rubber rings. They don't have just the rubber rings, but you can buy like a 30 pack or whatever of them.
Hi, Trish. Thanks for the information.
And what Trish? Oh, here we go. Come, fine. I have cool. Thanks, Trish. So, yeah. Generally speaking, Ace Hardware doesn't go for crap. Like a
Harbor Freight.
Well, I was going to say Wally World.
That works too.
Actually, it's kind of funny down here in the South where we're at now. Couldn't find them up there in PA, but down here, every place you walk into has ball canning jars everywhere. Stacks and stacks of them.
Yeah. Well, probably one of the reasons is probably they do more canning down where you're at now than they did up in Pennsylvania. So they always ordered more. So it was like, oh, volume to this area here. That's where we're going to send them.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to do something here, folks, for all of you that are in here now that did not see it in the beginning.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's right. We're going to run through this. So I'm going to show this again. So you see what the original outlier of this, the premise behind this here was. So I'm going to run this here real quick here. Okay, am I live? Okay, so guys, just to let you know, those are interested, my wife and family made it from California last night. Everybody's fine. We're able to get all the supplies here that they brought with them. We're heading out in about half an hour here out to the bunker. I'll try to broadcast again once we get to the bunker. That'll probably be in about 5 hours. All right. So, but yeah, it's been really bad. The CME has wiped out just about all major power plants. The internet still was still functioning. I'm still getting reports in. Any places that have generators are able still to get online, and I'm still getting updates from my office back at DHS. So I will everything I hear from you when I get some more time. I've got notes here and stuff. We want to get out of here, and when I get up to the bunker, I will put on a longer show, and I'm going to try to give all the information I have out to everybody. But the one thing I can say is get garden supplies now if you can. If you have stuff, don't bother going out. It's going to get really ugly, even out in the rural areas, really quick here. Okay. So this is Gil. I'm signing off now, and I will get back to you in about 5 hours from the bunker. Hello? Can't hear me? Hello? I hope I'm getting... I can't tell my message to the public. Hello? If you don't by now, it's happened. Things have gone down, and it's disgusting. I'm not sure what went, but it's severely all over the place. Hello? I'm looking for some sort of signal so someone can hear this. Okay. I've heard from my hacks is that new Detroit, Argo, San Francisco, Portland, and all cities are gone. If not gone, they've sustained damage. My last with my former office said that they expect months before any semblance of governmental response be made. It's not good for the race. So bad. They said also, haven't got a Arden in yet. Try to get something tid. Food is being shipped anywhere in the States. My signal here acting up really bad, and I'm not sure if I'm at all. I hope you can hear me and will be able to get part of my mess out to others. There no food ever anymore. Hello? Oh, can anybody respond? Hello? There? Yeah, so this it and it's getting bad here. We've shot brigands. Bodies are piling. Hope you are danger. Try again. Week. Okay, so that's what I started it off with. And Carol, you said that if the zombie comes out, what do you think, Carol? Hey, how you doing? Hey, Carol. What's up, Carol? Okay, there's your zombie, Carol. But seriously, you never can tell what will happen, what it may be. It may be like a CME causing an EMP. It may be something else that just causes the entire grid to go down. It could be earthquakes. It could be tornadoes, whatever, it could be a domino effect, But if it happens nationwide, it ain't going to be no quick recovery. If it happens worldwide, it's going to be even a longer recovery. So, because a lot of our stuff that we use for all the transformers and stuff none of them are made in the United States anymore.
No kidding.
So, anyways, that was the premise behind that. And what do I got here? I will see if I have one. Okay, Bruce, that would be a good one for later. Sorry, he sent me a private chat message, and we're not going to spoil the surprise for a different live stream. Yeah, so those that came in late, what are the 5 garden tools that you are going to go after as soon as it's safe to go out and salvage them? Now, make a list of those, prioritize them with the most important one, and then price them out if you can. Figure out, okay, we're going to work on, since this is the most important one, this is the one we're going to work on purchasing before we have to worry about salvaging it. And then once that one's gone, add another one on. Everything moves up, add another one on. And then later on, we talked about other items that are not for the garden that you would go out and salvage. And so same type thing. Like I said, the first thing I would go out and salvage would be solar panels and batteries.
And again, I've mentioned in the past, everybody forgets to look up. If we're not going to have power again for 5, 6, 10, 15, 20 years, depending on where it hits, if it's worldwide, it could be as many as 100 years, because it's going to take a long time to be able to reproduce technology in order to build said transformers again. You got copper wire lines overhead. That copper can be smelted down. and turned into plates, bowls, dishes, other utensils, knives, hammers. So, I mean, they've got materials all around you. Just knowing how to get it and transform it into what you need is just as important as having a box full of seeds to grow.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting is I thought about it one other time when Dave was talking about it, and I forgot to mention it then. All that copper wire and stuff, if you do think ahead and get manuals on how to build a generator, rebuild an armature for a car alternator, hey, copper wire, you figure out how to do the twine the weaving of it and stuff to make your armatures and stuff. You can build your own little generator. So all you got to do is figure out a way to power it, whether it's going to be steam power, whether it's going to be horsepower going in a small circle, like the old donkeys or bulls walking around inside the thing for the wheat grinders and stuff. They pull that and you run your gears and stuff. It could turn to that and you could be producing some electricity for yourself. But in the scenario here, the EMP that was produced by the CME caused just large generators because of all the wire they had and all the power lines. Just took out all the big stuff. The little small ones and stuff were generators, small motors and stuff. It did not wipe everything out. Just took a big hit to the grid and basically brought the grid down.
I do tell people read history, especially the Spanish Civil War, because they didn't have an EMP. What they had was a civil war that disrupted the electrical system throughout Spain. Sorry.
Well, there's places here on the earth right now that are going through lack of power. Well, they only get power for 1 or 2 hours a day. Lebanon being one of them. You see what those people are going through. They're standing 25, 30 hours in line at a gas station, hoping eventually they can get up there while the power is on. They can get a couple gallons of gas to hopefully drive their car back and forth to go get food that's getting very short in supply. You got Venezuela, where a wheelbarrow full of cash might buy you a sandwich. And that's 2 pieces of bread and maybe a slice of cheese and hopefully some butter. I mean,
right or dust, which you mentioned on that. Bruce was talking about the covering the windows from the inside to keep light from getting out. But if you're covering your windows to keep light from getting out, you'll probably want to go ahead and cover the outside of the windows to keep the glass from getting broken, so you don't lose the weather seal of your house.
Well, that goes back to something I mentioned about 2 years ago in another live stream, is if you can plan ahead far enough, and this is just me personally, and it's what I would do here if things got to it, is I would build shadow boxes for each and every window. That way it would be black 4 or 5 inches behind it. That way I could have the blinds there, so if somebody looked in from the road, they'd see closed blinds, but it wouldn't appear as the window itself was blacked out. That way, if somebody's walking by, they're scoping places out, they see spray paint on the window, let's mark that one for come back and search on later. If they walk by and they see blinds and it doesn't look like the windows have been blacked out, they're less likely going to want to pursue that one immediately. Doesn't mean they won't come back and check later, but they're smarter people are going to be looking for blacked out windows. So I would build shadow boxes, and in said shadow boxes, I would put what is called a gun slit. It's a board that I can slide back and forth so I can see out that window, so I can see what's outside. Obviously, you don't want to have any light on behind you when you do it, but you'd still be able to see outside.
They also do make a 8 or 10 mil plastic that actually will suck onto the window, and it will prevent it from breaking. They originally started doing it for hurricanes and stuff so that they could try and keep the windows intact. But it also works very well if somebody's trying to hit it with a hammer, rock, cinder block. The window will crack, but this 10 mil material will keep it in place.
All right. And if you get that on one side, and they have also, or even you put that on the inside, and then you have the tint, the window tint over that as well. Then it's, it makes it that much harder to see through.
Yeah,
but remember, even though you cover up the windows and stuff during the daytime, during the nighttime, you may want to be opening them up during the daytime, especially in the summertime. You'll open it up early in the morning to get that cool air in there to cool off the house. There'll be times where you have certain rooms where you will have the windows open to let the air through, and nobody takes any light in there at night at all. That way you can get the house cool. And in the wintertime, you're going to be keeping it boarded up, to keep all the heat in. But okay, so Laura's here. So yeah, it's a I don't want to say this without going off fear pornish on everybody. You can never exactly predict what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to get hit by an intersection by a semi that's lost its brakes. You never know when a disaster or emergency is going to strike. What you do is you do the best you can in getting prepared and preparing your family for whatever could happen. Like the Broussards down there in Louisiana, they know hurricane season begins here. It goes usually until here. We got to be ready for hurricanes. When Ida was heading their direction, they went out. They had videos on it, tying down their beehives so it wouldn't get blown over or anything. Ida totally missed them, but they didn't know it was going to totally miss them. So when there are certain things you can prepare for. You can hear things coming at you. Some things you have no idea about. You don't know till maybe a second or two beforehand when you hear the rumble of an earthquake. Tornadoes, you can get as little as 30 seconds to 10 minutes warning. But lightning strike, wait, forget it. All you can tell is, it's getting cloudy and we might have some lightning or might have a storm coming in, but you never know exactly if it's going to be producing lightning or not. An active shooter at a mall, you never know. There are a lot of things. Froze. There are a lot of things you just don't know when or if it's going to happen. But you can know certain things that are going to have a greater likelihood of happening for where you live. Like Dave ain't gonna face a full-on hurricane where he's at, but he might get a tornado up there, maybe. The same thing for Bruce. Bruce might get a tornado, but I don't think he's going to get a typhoon.
No, if we get a typhoon here, that'd be interesting.
That would mean the Earth is done flipped on its axis, and what we consider home now will become underwater soon.
Yeah, exactly.
So there, going back to what we were doing for just general preparedness, they're talking about the canning jars and stuff. What other things do you really need for your homestead? Well, here my wife and I are thinking about the new house is all electric, no gas. So we're thinking about even possibly getting one of big, huge propane tanks, putting it behind the shop and running a line to the house so that we need to, we can, run gas appliances in here.
That's next on the hit parade for us too. It's all electric here.
Yeah. Fortunately, the house, when Brandon, all right, this house, the history on this house, you're going to love this. It's so friggin' funny and stupid. A couple bought the property in 1995, ordered the manufactured home. It came in, it was set up. 6 months later, they got a divorce and walked away from it. It sat for almost 5 years before the real estate agent convinced Brandon, who was looking for a house, to come look at it. He walked through it. He goes, I'll take it. He was thinking it was an old mobile home, which looked like pieces of crap. This, looks really nice. And it had the hurricane tie downs on it and everything else already. It was all set up. And it was built a lot better than the mobile homes were, but it's still not not a modular, it's a manufactured. So the first year Brandon was in it, the winter, he ran the electric furnace. $500 a month. He went out and bought a wood burning stove and put a wood burning stove in this baby. And once he had the wood burning stove in, that electric furnace never got turned on again. So, like this last winter, we bought the place in January. Kept it nice, toasty warm in here, and no problem. So it's just all we got to do is make sure we have firewood. But my wife's thinking about maybe we ought to get a big propane tank put up back behind the shop and run the line around here, and go ahead and put a what it's called. Basically, it's both gas and electric. You can run either or, and put one of those furnaces in with the AC on it. So, that's one of the things we are looking at the possibilities of doing. Of course, if we do get the propane tank in, then hey, I can also run my generator off the propane tank and run it for our entire friggin' year without running out of propane. But there's a lot of things you can think about, plan about, prioritize, revisit your list. See what you thought 3 months ago. Is that really that important, or can I move that down the list? And this here is more important. I need to move that up the list.
Well, the biggest thing is don't let everything become so big that it overpowers you. That's what happened with the city councils and stuff around us. We would come in and we would give them an emergency operations plan that several guys that were in emergency management had sat down and come up with for their specific area, because we knew what we'd dealt with over the last 20, 30 years. So you had to present that to them because they had to sign off on it. It had to be sent to the state and everything. But they would sit there and they go, how are we going to do this? We only get, $300,000 a year in our little borough or whatever. And you say, well, you don't do it all at once. That's how. You need a generator here so that the cop shop can keep the radio up. So 1 year do the generator, the next year do some flood mitigation, the next year do something else, so that it wasn't, they had to spend $25 million all at one time. There was no way they could do that.
Right. And then also there's for cities and even individuals, there are grants available for different things.
Yep.
You can get a grant for something else, and the money you're saving for that you got the grant for, you can spend that on your preps. You don't have to get a grant for being prepared. You can get a grant for paying your electrical bill, or a grant for paying your phone bill. Well, that takes off so much a month, so now I can spend that much on getting extra food, getting a canner, getting this other stuff. So there are things out there, ways you can get extra money. One of the ones I think is kind of the neatest, and I don't know how many people out there are subscribed to Arms Family Homestead, but Daniel and Dee Dee Daniel and DJ, they just had a video up on their finances and what they've done. This is the 4th video they've put up over the last 3 years. And it talked about how they're doing things. They have several side hustles. She decided to open up her own photography studio. So she makes money going out and doing photography, besides working with all the animals and stuff. They got their little YouTube channel stuff, and then they got their merchandising stuff they have for their different things, and then they got their daughter has her own cupcake sales thing, and she does she does baking and stuff. There are a lot of things you can do to raise extra money. Dave, was it you that was during your college years were going around picking up stuff, fixing it?
I wasn't in college, but I pulled it off of a college because I lived in a college town.
Okay, that's what it was. And what all did you do? I mean, you were going picking up furniture and stuff.
We'd pick up TVs, VCRs, stereos. We'd repair them and sell them.
Yeah. So there's also, and then I know there are places that just, people get new furniture and they just put the other stuff out on the curb and say free.
Especially your more affluential areas, they decide to get something new. Doesn't matter whether it's 6 months old or 6 years old, they'll throw the other stuff out. And it's usually, especially in your more affluential areas, it's usually in pretty good shape still.
Mm-hmm. And, I know my wife has been, she has several apps for free stuff in the area. And she's picked up, got a queen size bed, picked up bunk bed stuff. She got picked up dressers and stuff, all really nice. And because we got 2 houses now, so I'm bringing our good stuff from there up here, and she's replacing stuff down there with stuff that when we sell that house, we'll probably just leave it at the house. Yeah, this furniture comes with the house, So there are things you can do it. Where do people get all this energy?
I'm running on empty at the moment, so I don't know where y'all got, but
yeah. It's just organizing your time and prioritizing whether do I want to go out and party tonight, or do I want to do something else more constructive tomorrow morning after I get a good night's sleep.
Sleep, that's highly overrated. It's for weaklings.
Okay. I got to talk about this.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I would fire that financial advisor. Here's what my wife did. My wife is an accountant. We got married. I had a house with a 30-year loan on it. In 2 years, she refinanced it to a 15-year loan, found a better interest rate. Our monthly payment went up by only $58. So in 15 years, we had paid it off. And now instead of having to pay off, paying another $1,000 and some odd dollars a month for the next 15 years, we didn't have to. Hey, we bought a house up here in Idaho. It's almost paid off. We bought a second house up here in Idaho. So the first house is paid off. The second one's almost paid off. And our investments on our retirement funds, the interest we're making on our retirement funds is more than the interest we're paying on the loans for the 2 houses.
That's the way to do it.
So it doesn't, I said, well, I didn't realize how much we were making on interest. I go to my wife, well, why don't we take one of this and pay off this? She goes, you're making this much a month on your retirement account, which is more than the payment for the house and the interest. And it's like, okay. And so she has set up, gone through, and right now interest rates are at an all-time friggin' low. Yes, we got a 30-year loan on this house here, but when the other house is paid off, if the interest rates drop back down again, we will refinance this one. Otherwise, she's paying off extra. Right now, she's paying off double on the house across the street and an extra $200 a month on this one. Every time she pays off that extra $200 a month, that comes off the interest that we're going to pay off, interest that we wind up having to pay over the time of the loan, because it shortens the loan time. And by shortening them out, by paying off $200 a month, now it drops the amount of interest we're being charged by pennies every single month, or dollars every single month. So yeah, it comes in. To get rid of your debt is really important. The best thing you can do is not owe money, live debt free. Yeah, that it is good. But if you can do like my wife is doing with our finances right now, where we have debt, but the debt we have is offset by the extra money we're making. So we're making more money by having the debt than if we just paid it off, and we'd have less left in our accounts. But you can't. Everyone can't do that. You have to have the right things in the right places. And I tell you, I am so glad I was working for the government for the last 17 years, and the TSP plan. I was able just to pack that thing full. When my wife saw how much money the TSP was matching, she cut back her own 401k to practically nothing, and had me increase mine by the same amount she cut hers back, because the federal government was matching that much money going into my TSP account. Let's see what else we got here. Looking at the side chat, catching up here, guys. Yeah. So the thing is, one thing. So before we close this off here and wrap it up, because we're almost an hour over. Woohoo! But I know we've covered a lot of information here for everybody. I really want to make sure, the number one thing you can do to get prepared after you take inventory and stock of everything you have is prioritize your wants and your needs. Your wants come second. Your needs come first. What is it you really need to survive? Do you need a 25 camera CCT system to survive, or do you need a pressure canner, a water bath canner, and a bunch of canning jars? I'm running out here. Dave, Bruce, any other final things? Any other pearls of wisdom to pass on?
Secret sauce to planning for stuff: do a threat matrix. Look it up on Google. It's stupid easy to do, and do it with your wife, your husband, your kids. Have everybody in the house do it, because you may not think of something that somebody else does. Mm-hmm. And when you get that threat matrix together, then you all get together and prioritize everything, because the kid's going to think out of the box a lot more than an adult is.
Oh, yeah. He'll come up with ideas that you think, whoa, where did you come up with that?
And that's the secret sauce to it, people. I mean, once you've identified all of it, then it's just a matter of taking a piece at a time and getting it done.
Think of the old Johnny Cash song, one piece at a time.
Yep.
Yeah, that was it's a 53, 43, car, you got it one piece at a time. Okay, I'm going
to freeze.
I'm going to throw one link into this chat here. And this tags on to what Bruce was saying about threat matrix. This is my Preppers for Beginners playlist. Video number 3A, 3B, and 3C are planning for emergencies. It's basically along the same lines of the threat matrix. Talks about how to make plans, how to use what's called a parking lot for ideas. So you don't discard anybody's parking lot. You look at all ideas, you go through it. And yeah, so check it out. See what see if that helps you. Yes.
Tasha said something to you.
Yeah, I see it there.
Okay.
Okay, Tasha. Sure.
Hit him up. Just don't hit him with anything hard. Use feathers and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to be heading back to. I'm going to still be able to do. I'll be doing my live streams, but I'm heading back on next Wednesday to California, and I'll probably be coming back here the following Wednesday. So I'll be in transit on Wednesdays, the next 2 Wednesdays, driving to and from California. So, but I'll be, be able to do live streams in between there and stuff. Just, get with me. Email is in the bottom of the description down there. Real easy to remember.
Or hit me up. I'll get it to you.
Camppatton Family Compound, no spaces between the family and the others, at Gmail. All righty. So I think we're going to wrap it up for tonight. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. Thanks you in the side chat for all your comments and information. Thanks, Dave and Bruce, for coming up here. And Courtney, who's probably canning and listening. And Uncle Al, thank you, too, for coming up here. And we are going to get out of here. But before, I need to give you the what's coming up. So on Tuesday, Dave, have you been able to set a time yet?
Not yet. I'm still waiting for Doc to get back with me on it.
Okay,
I figure at the earliest an hour early, because we're going to be talking about a brand new book. Well, it's not brand new. It's just revised, edited, and bigger.
Yeah. And so Dave will have Doc Bones and Nurse Amy on his channel. So that'll probably be starting at...
Well, let's figure 8 o'clock, but I'll make sure everybody's updated on my community tab before it actually happens, so everybody's aware and can schedule accordingly.
Right. And then after Dave at my time, for Tactical Tuesday at 10 o'clock Eastern, we're going to be kind of continuing this a little bit differently. We're going to talk about items you should already have in your stash. What items you should already have in your preps already. So
I don't have anything.
And then
nothing. Neither do I.
Yeah. Next Friday is a big question mark. I will be in California, but I may not be allowed to do a live stream. Or if I do a live stream, I will have a co-host with me. It's my, I got to do the math here. Okay, we got
you're in trouble now, Gil.
88.
Oh.
So it's our 33rd wedding anniversary.
You are in trouble, man.
No,
yeah, I'm going to send her an email right now. I'm going to tell her you got to remember.
I keep on trying to tack a year on, saying that we got married in 87 instead of 88. No, we met in 87. We got married in 88. My dad died in 89. My grandmother died in 89. So, yeah. All righty. So that's what's coming up, and we will see you next time around, everyone.